Probably. You think you all know my story. Now, you may not know this. Bullseyes fucking suck. Everything's blurry, the colors don't quite show up, they're too far apart on my head for me to do a whole lot of reading, so I don't know for sure what all the literature books say about the history of it, but this is what I've heard. Correct me if I fuck any of it up. But over the past several millennia, what I have heard is that the genesis of me comes something to the tune of the ascension to the throne of King Minos, who as soon as he receives this position decides, like any normal king would do, that the best course of action for celebrating is, of course, to request a white bull from Poseidon, the king of the sea. If you believe this to be a scathing example of how fucked up your people seem to think my people are, wait, there's more. From there, Minos is said to have been granted the bull, with the curse that, of course, his wife would fall madly in love with it. Obviously, the only course of action from here is for a decoy of the bull to be formed so that his wife will climb inside of it and magically spawn some sort of weird-ass hybrid love child. I had my own head once. Had green eyes like my mom's. Lips that the rest of my face hadn't quite grown into. I was 14. Scrawny. Had eyes on the wrong people. Couldn't lift a discus, let alone throw it. One of the many things that y'all seem to think about my time is that we were this hotbed of liberalism, all fabulous ancient Greece, so full of goodwill and sodomy. Now, that was reserved for a special caste. The Perseuses and the Hercules could get away with that because they had the good fortune of being able to bench press any man they fucked. I did not have that luxury. My mom knew. Moms always know. She told me, Benjamin. That was my name, by the way, Benjamin. Minotaur didn't come because the king's name was Minos. I could easily have been called the Benjatar if they were a little... Anyway. She said, this world is not what we think it is. This isn't the safest place for you. There are areas where you could go. Maybe you should get out while you still can. It is the best advice I never took. Now, if you want a fantastic example of the spin that gets put on my people, look no further than the story of Icarus. Oh, Icarus. Now, what you'll hear is a loving confabulation of what really happened with my boy Icarus. Those were not wings. That fucking queen botched the feather boa, welded it to his shoulder blades, but it's a story for another day. There was a night when I thought I would finally get what I wanted. It was just the two of us. This asshole fucking father finally wasn't keeping watch over him. He held me, hand behind my neck, eyes directly into mine. Soon, as there was almost no space between his lips and mine, his hand tightened. I heard, "Get him!" Last thing I remember seeing with my own eyes was the axe. There was a brown blob toward the left of it. I didn't realize that was going to be the fate that would be resting on my shoulders for eternity. All Icarus left me were claw marks in my shoulders. I imagine none of you know the feeling of having your own head removed from your body. There was a moment of abject placelessness. I didn't know where my thoughts were housed anymore. And then suddenly some weird animal instinct just entered all of me. I don't know if you know this. Bull stomachs are amazingly designed to break down flesh immediately removed right from the bodies of live animals. I don't have that stomach. I just have that appetite. That shit stays in the head. So, my curse that day was the curse of wanting something that the rest of me could not handle. Now, I guess the upshot was that Icarus felt just shitty enough about it that when his father was commissioned to build my home, he instructed to please give me somewhere where if I was going to be seen, people would have to do some work to get to me. My mother only came to the labyrinth once when they explained to her what happened, what was going on before this animal head was forced onto me. Hadn't quite yet learned to use my new ears, but I could make out her saying, "Oh, I guess it's just as well then." I never saw her again. By the time that Theseus came to kill me, the idea was such a relief when he put his hand on that same spot at the top of my neck. I had no reason to have a context for what it feels like to have immortality slid into your spine, but I was forever changed at that point when he told me that this is what I deserved, a lifetime of meditating on what I was. I knew he was right. I knew that my story now became not the story of some weird one-woman love fest inside a fake bull. No. It became the story of my society and everyone that has followed since. See, the things that we hate, we turn them into things as ugly as what we believe them to be. Whether it is that faggot or that fucking punk who always gets away with it, this is what we become. So I guess since you worked hard enough to get here, I should give you the words of my own mother. I'm here. This is where I am bound forever. You have the ability to go, so maybe you ought to get out while you can.